Hi, this is Mary Jo Tinlin from the Teaching Your Toddler Show. Today we are going to learn about a miracle molecule called nitric oxide and why it is vital for our health, as well as how to prevent losing it from your body in our interview with Dr. Nathan S. Bryan. Dr. Bryan's new book, The Secret of Nitric Oxide Bringing the Science to Life, is now available and represents his life's work in researching and educating about nitric oxide. Dr. Bryan earned his undergraduate Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry from the University of Texas at Austin and his doctoral degree from Louisiana State University. He was also on the faculty at the University of Texas Health Science Center for 9 years, which led to several discoveries resulting in over a dozen patents both in the United States and internationally, with more pending worldwide. You're going to love this short episode packed with information, so please enjoy the show. Hi, this is Mary Jo Tinlin from the Teaching Your Toddler Show. Today we have Dr. Nathan Bryan to talk to us about a very important substance, teach us a little bit about that, and then also talk about his new book. So, Dr. Bryan, welcome to the show. Tell us about nitric oxide. What is it and why is it so important?
Thanks, Mary Jo. It's great to be with you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, nitric oxide, I reveal in this book, The Secret of Nitric Oxide Bringing the Science to Life, exactly the answer to that question. Nitric oxide is a naturally produced molecule. What the science reveals is the older we get, the less we make, and that's what's responsible for age-related disease. But it's a signaling molecule that's naturally produced. It opens up the blood vessels. It restores blood flow and tissue oxygenation. It reduces inflammation, oxidative stress, and immune dysfunction, all the things we see in every single chronic disease.
The basis for all our disease, right, is inflammation, loss of our immune system. And so, what I know this is your life's work, right? You've dedicated yourself to nitric oxide. How did you land on that? And then tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, I've always been interested in science and medicine. After I got a degree in biochemistry from the University of Texas, I went to LSU School of Medicine, where I was working on a PhD in molecular and cellular physiology, and a Nobel Prize had just been awarded for the discovery of nitric oxide in 1998. So we knew that this was an important area of research. There were still a lot of unanswered questions. And, one of the guys who won the Nobel Prize told me personally that if you can figure out how to restore the production of nitric oxide, it will change the world and certainly change the landscape of medicine. So, that's what I've been doing for the past 25 years, and we've solved a lot of problems and, advanced the science to the extent that we have safe and effective product technology and hopefully drug therapy on the market in the next couple of years.
That's amazing. And so, so you wrote your book. It's coming out as we record this today on February 24th, 2025. Tell us a little bit about the book itself. What's in the book and what will people learn?
Well, my motivation for the book is really twofold. Number one, to take this rich history of discovery in the science of nitric oxide and educate and inform hopefully everybody on the planet who reads this book, because it's really critical that people understand what this molecule is, what it does, and what they may be doing that leads to a rapid decline of this that may be contributing to their chronic disease. And then number two was to weave in this personal story, my story of discovery and research, and really how we've been able to take the basic science and translate that into safe and effective product technology and drug therapy, and really highlight the hurdles we've had to overcome, the obstacles, really the opposition from big pharma, and really to hopefully motivate and inspire people to, stick to your dreams, follow your dreams, and never give up and never give in.
That's amazing. I know that there are some ways that we deplete that in our bodies, and then there's ways that we can build that. So can you give us a couple of those ideas?
Yeah, really what I try to inform is, you got to do two things. Stop doing the things that we know disrupt the natural production of nitric oxide, and then start doing the things that we know are clinically proven to restore it and activate it. So if you eliminate things like mouthwash, get rid of fluoride in your toothpaste, because these are what we call antiseptics. They're killing the microbiome, the non-pathogenic commensal bacteria that live in and on our body that are responsible for partly producing nitric oxide gas. The other thing that's come to the fore is, use of antacid drugs, things like proton pump inhibitors, completely shut down the body's ability to produce nitric oxide. Now what we're finding is that people who have been on these drugs for 3 to 5 years have about a 40% higher incidence of heart attack, stroke, and Alzheimer's. So we have to get rid of antiseptic mouthwash. We have to remove fluoride, our fluoride exposure, and patients must talk to their physicians on how to wean off antacids. Now the body's primed to make nitric oxide on its own. So moderate physical exercise, throw in some more green leafy vegetables, eliminate sugar, simple carbohydrates, things that lead to a spike in blood sugar and insulin, and then 20, 30 minutes of sunlight exposure a day. And sometimes it can be that simple.
Wow. So nitric oxide, it's a science, it's a production, right? Is it like vitamin D in that way? Like our bodies are producing it in some way?
Yeah, it's a gas. It makes it
I
an
guess.
interesting molecule that's naturally produced. But once it's produced, it's gone in less than a second. But it's a signaling molecule. It activates a number of second messenger systems. So, the cells in the body communicate. And the analogy is in a string of dominoes. If you knock down that first domino, everything else follows. Nitric oxide is that first domino. Without nitric oxide being produced, you lose this second messenger system. You lose the ability to dilate the blood vessels and regulate blood flow. You get out of control inflammation, oxidative stress, and immune dysfunction. And that's what we know leads to chronic disease.
Wow, I love that analogy of the dominoes. That really brings it home. I think. Thank you so much, Dr. Bryan. How do we find you? How do we find your book?
Well, you can find the book anywhere books are sold. Amazon, if you go to nathansbook.com, there's links there to Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I highly encourage people to just get educated, get informed. I've got a YouTube channel, Dr. Nathan S Bryan, Nitric Oxide, where we provide the latest up-to-date information and science on nitric oxide. And then, for those of you interested in safe and effective nitric oxide product technology, it's n1o1.com. That's the letter N, number one, letter O, number one.com.
Excellent. We'll make sure that these links are in our show notes so people can find you. I'm definitely going to look that up. I've been taking nitric oxide, but I'm very interested in your product too. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you, Mary Jo.
This has been the Teaching Your Toddler podcast with Mary Jo Tinlin. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you'll find us on our website at teachingyourtoddler.com, as well as on Facebook at Teaching Your Toddler, on Instagram, and on Twitter at Teaching Toddler. So join us again, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much.